On tonight's show, we feature some work we have done over the off-season, featuring a trip to the UK to follow the 4 Kiwi drivers at the Brisker F1 Stock Car Championship of the World. Back in New Zealand, we travelled to Auckland to the CRC Speed Show, where we catch up with the 2NZ TQ driver, paid a visit to the Rees Race Cars Open Day last weekend, and we also went along to the Palmerston North RC Speedway Club to catch some action from the under-16 stock car and street stock champs, plus the over-45 stock car champs, and we also paid tribute to a former RC Speedway racer. We also chatted to the 2018-19 season points, best presented and overall stock car driver of the year at the Robertson Holden International Speedway. But first, we're in the UK at Kingsland Speedway to hear from our drivers after the time trials for the Brisker F1 Stock Car Championship of the World. The time trials didn't go too bad, I suppose. You guys all putting together 2 laps each. We'll go back with Jordan. Jordan, you ended up, I think, finishing starting on row 6 or something like that. You happy with that time, or just sweet to get out there on the grid, really?
Yeah. I think I qualified 6th out of the overseas drivers, which was all right. It just means I'm on an outside grid. I think I'm about grid 18, so it's probably going to be a lot of chaos in there, so not ideal. But I mean, I was happy with how the car went in the time trials, so it's got the speed. I've just got to be able to stay out of the crap.
Jaden Ward was our top Kiwi driver. He finished up in 4th place. Jaden, pretty stoked to be the top Kiwi driver and start out there on. I think you're the one on row 6 on grid 12.
Yeah, it was pretty good to do it, but it's only a time, mate. Nothing good about that. Yeah, we're starting on grid 12, so it's going to be hectic going into the first corner. You know, we're stuck out by the wall, but it is what it is.
Just send it on the first corner, eh?
Just send it, mate. We'll lick the stamp and send it.
And then we go over to two of our back markers, we can call them, but they're pretty stoked to be at the back. Malcolm Nartai, William Humphreys. Malcolm, how'd you find that one-lap dash out there on track?
Yeah, no, it was good. Never ripped the car off. Brought it back in one piece.
You actually did damage the car because you lost the transponder during the race, during the lap.
No, that was gone from last night. But yeah, we had our best lap was the one they never recorded. So, well, I'm going to live with the fame of that. And I sneaked in the front of Will, so that's pretty good. But yeah, no, the car's all right. We've got. I'm just starting to get the handle of it now. So, yeah, as I say, a few more laps will be nice. But I've been wrecking it, not racing it. So.
And William Humphreys. William, your car had a fair bit of damage, so you ended up racing Danny Wayman's car. Tell us a little bit about what happened there and how come you ended up in Danny's car.
Yeah, as we went to take my car, we finally just got my car repaired and driven up to the track for the time trials. And as we got to the gate, couldn't select gears. So yeah, jumped out of that. Danny Wayman, who I was borrowing, I'm using his other car, let me run and jump in his good car, which he's using in the World Final. Went out and spun some laps in that, but it's just completely different driving setup, so just ended up 11th on the 11th out of the overseas, 11th out of 12th, but definitely a good car, but just needed a few more laps really to try to get a good lap in, but we're out there.
Today, New Zealand under-16 champs for both the stock cars and the street stocks. Tell us a little bit about the event and what that's all about for the club and the kids.
The under-16s came about, not too sure, probably 5 or 6 years ago over in the Hawke's Bay. The idea of it is to get the young people into the sport. They don't have to compete against the older guys who are a lot more experienced, so it gives them a chance to win a title in their age group. And it's proving very popular. The current 1NZ Junior stock cars is at the moment is the current 1NZ Open champion.
So here with our 2-time defending New Zealand under-16 stock car champion, Hunter Derrida. Hunter, mate, 1NZ on the car. You're running a bit of the Mucka Motorsport colours today. Benji Snedden and Dan Pole. You're feeling the pressure with this event, being on your home track?
Yeah, feeling a bit of pressure, you know. Don't want to bin it, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, as well as the under-16 New Zealand champ, you're actually the overall New Zealand Superstock champ as well. So there must be even more added pressure knowing that you've got to perform with these young ones, knowing, you know, being that you perform with with everyone else, the adults as well.
Yeah, there's certainly a bit of pressure going from racing with all the top dogs and going to the younger guys, you know, just don't want to muck it up, you know.
What's the over 40s all about today?
The over 40s is all about bringing the old guys back out onto the scene. They've got cars sitting behind them, whatever reason they've lost interest, so trying to get them back out with a standard motor in them, not too much damage, just a little bit of fun with it, and it's good to see them back into the sport.
Carlos, you've got your trusty Charger here, so tell us about the street stocks and what was really behind starting it all up for you, mate.
Well, it originally started with a mate of yours, actually, Lee Norris, and his father made him a radio control stock car, and everybody was building heavy cars with big motors, and they built a light car with a standard motor, and when it hit the track, it was rapid and really fast, so I sort of thought about it for a bit, and you know, a few other people were mulling about ideas of doing something, and I ended up thinking I'll just build a car and come up with a set of rules that I thought would be quite cool, and we went from there. People embraced it, and it's pretty big fuss now.
Okay, Pete, how long have you been building your cars?
Ooh, coming on near 18 years, I think, full time. Probably part time a couple of years prior to that. Knocking on close to 250 cars now, stock cars, super stocks.
How many are you currently building at present?
We got 21 orders this year. We whittled that down to 19. A couple have been delayed for next year, and there's still currently 6 here, not quite finished. We're trying to get done the next 2 or 3 weeks, so we're under the pump. So this day off's kind of cool for us because we've been quite busy. It's a first order, first to get basis around here, so you know, if they're all ordered late, I'll never say no.
Can you tell us about the design of your cars?
Basically just a space frame, but we've changed it quite a bit from last year. You'd have to have a bit of a look. It's more of a wedge shape, more comfort for the driver this year, more rear weight, more left weight. Some of the stuff you can't see what we're trying to do, but if it works, we'll just keep putting it into the cars.
Tell me about the wheel guard covers when it comes to the teams racing.
Oh, well, the cars, to get rear weight, we've put extra heavy wheel guards on them, so we've just put like a 60 kilo wheel guard on them, bring the weight up in the right place. It's called adding weight, which we can do, and hopefully it helps it perform better. Oh, definitely stronger. Wouldn't like to drop them on my foot, 60 kilos. So we're going to put handles on them so they're easy to lift. It's only on the left side.
How do you think the Giants are going this season?
Oh, well, that's a golden question. We always try our best. Team's looking good. We've got heaps to choose from. You know, we'll run a couple of minor teams races pre the big one in Palmy, so we can try other combinations. And individually, I mean, Wanganui's going to be a bit of potluck in it. It's if you get around there and you win it, I think you've been a real lucky person, and fast, obviously.
What were your top memories from last season?
Well, last season memories, I got 2NZ, obviously. Good trip down south, New Zealand's. Team's always good. Auckland's good for us. We won that 3 years in a row. I went back to the Worlds, first time in 4 years. That's a good meeting. We travelled lots, did about 25,000 k's last year. In our ute that we get from Isuzu and McVeary Crawfords, and our engines performed well, so that's a good thing. If you have engine trouble, it's just a headache and it costs. So I had a great year. Did about 30 meetings in each car.
Is that your pretty amazing looking trophy collection behind you?
Basically, yeah, it is. Yeah, and every year we add a few more in there, and you know that's a cool thing. I am proud of those. Some people look us down for having those, but hey, that's what we're out there. We're out there to win, aren't we?
Are you going to be attending the opening night in Palmerston North?
No, I'm actually going up to Gisborne to put it in their AMP show, put my car up there on display, and we're going fishing that weekend. And our opening night's in Kiki. We've done a deal with the Kiki boys. We travel there, they'll come and visit us in Gisborne. Our second night, the night after, is actually Wanganui's opening, so we'll do that as well. We'll probably end up doing 3 or 4 openings with a bit of luck.
And how about a shout out to your sponsors?
Oh, well, there's a key sponsor right behind you, Waka Property Maintenance. Brent Body Cars, obviously, and Tom McVeary Cars, both oppositions, but they both look after us very well. Hartley, obviously, He's the key, get that engine going and keep it going. Not so much a sponsor, I suppose, just a good engine builder. And there's lots of little ones all over the car that we like to show off and we wear with pride.
The long winter wait is almost over. Spectacular, high-powered, adrenaline-filled Speedway action is about to roar back into life at the Robertson Holden International Speedway on Saturday the 19th of October with the grand opening for the 1920 season. New cars, new drivers, plus all of your favourites will all be back out on the track with the fast and furious super stocks, the metal-crunching stock cars, spectacular sprint cars, magnificent mini sprints, and the daredevil sidecars all on the programme. The best family entertainment in the Manawatu. So get your family and friends together and make sure you're trackside to feel the roar. The gates open at 5:30 p.m. and the green flag drops at 6:30 p.m. For more information, visit www.pnspeedway.co.nz. Be there.
This Saturday night at Eastern State Speedway in Blenheim, starting at 6 p.m, is their opening night. Classes include saloons, super saloons, youth mini stocks, street stocks, stock cars, production saloons, and sidecars. This Saturday night at Koken, Woodford Glen Speedway Christchurch, starting at 6:30 p.m, is their opening night, featuring the Molly Young New Zealand Trophy Challenge. This Saturday afternoon at X Factor Cars Riverside Speedway, starting at 2 p.m, is their opening meeting, featuring double points across all classes.
We're down here at the CRC Speed Show in the Western Springs booth. We've got an array of cars which all race out of Western Springs. Here we've got the 91 Midget of Hayden Guptill, my own TQ number 2NZ, Nathan Howard's 19A F2, and Mike Wheeler's sprint car down the end. In the late, most people will have heard the name Western Springs Speedway through all the coverage that it's got and through shifting to a possible new venue, which would be a shame to see the Speedway move, being that it's coming up with the season coming 2020. That will be 90 years at this venue. In terms of a Speedway track in New Zealand, it's one of the longest standing tracks. And for motorsport and Speedway in New Zealand, that would be a shame to lose the history that has been gathered around it. And like I say, I'll just go through it with the cars. The Midget uses a custom-built inline four-cylinder engine, cubic capacity 166 inches, with approximately about a 70-inch wheelbase and a 52-inch wheel track. The TQ, however, it's smaller. It uses a bike engine in a chain drive configuration, 750cc water-cooled GSXR Suzuki. The wheel track is more around the ranges of 46 inches wide and about 65 inches long. Further down we've got the F2 of Nathan Howard, which is identical replica of the Midget itself. But the sole difference between the two cars is the F2 is an entry level for the Midget game. What they use is a road car production engine. Nathan's utilises a K20 Honda engine. A lot of the engines around are either SR20, K20 Hondas, there's Ford Focus engines, and they're all based around a 2-litre rule, so nothing more than 2 litre. At the end, we're down to the big boys, the sprint cars, the Winged Warriors. They use a 410 cubic inch all aluminium V8 engine, somewhere in the mix of 800 and 900 horsepower. Most are Chevy configuration. There's a few out there in that are Fords, but yeah, like I say, big wing, big downforce, and probably the fastest and highest tier of Speedway New Zealand.
G'day, I'm Brendan Lemont, 174P stock car. This is Nugget. It used to be Asheries' 1NZ car. Last season we managed to pick up the season points, which was pretty cool. It was our first season contracting to Palmy. Last season we decided to step it up big time with our maintenance and the amount of hours in the shed, and it obviously paid off. We also won Best Presented, which we put a lot of effort into, and we got Stock Car Driver of the Year. We also made the Pumas and got second at New Zealand teams and third at Peterbarry's. Going into the 2019-20 season, I would like to go back-to-back in the season points and definitely like to win Best Presented. I'd love to have my name on the Rob and Pratt. I know Trish very well, and I think that would, out of all the trophies that can be won in Palmy, I would personally like that one on my mantelpiece for a while. But we got fourth last year by 1 point. Got two. It was a 41 car field, and we got second, and then we're running in fourth. Got a flat right rear, and that dropped us 6 spots. And then we got second in the last race, so we got 2 seconds in the 41 car field. Not too bad, but we came away for the win on the points that night on finals night, so we didn't go away empty-handed. But I would like to win the Rob and Pratt very much, big time. So I knew I won the points on finals night. I knew I hadn't won the Rob and Pratt because of my second heat. I didn't have quite enough points. One thing the team selectors have said to me is count your laps and try and figure out where you are. And I knew I was in second, so I knew I won the teams. I knew I won the points, and I was fist pumping in the car, and people probably thought I won the Rob and Pratt, but I knew I'd won the points. And that was a big highlight for me, it really was, you know. I really enjoyed that. Another big highlight is in Wellington, I started on grid 28 and we got second in a race. So to pass that many cars in one race is a huge effort, and Speedway's got a selfish sport, you know, like we get the glory, we get all that stuff. So for me, like, my crew turn up every single Tuesday night, and if they have to, every single Thursday night and every Saturday, and so a highlight for me is that camaraderie of the crew, and they still keep coming back and doing it for them, and it's a big thing. So that's also a highlight. The racing's cool, but the fact that the crew can be involved is a huge thing for me and the family as well. So we've got some big sponsors on board that we like to look after. Basically every one of our sponsors helps us race and in any way. But yeah, we got Gull New Zealand on board, Allied Concrete, Mitre 10 Trade, Palmerston North, Motomuck, Origin Homes, Fiberglass Body Specialists, Wellington Toyota Dismantlers, Building King Products. We've got custom screen printing, We also have Stay Safe Fire Protection, Sign Fusion. A big part of cleaning the car and as terms of presentation is we've got Motomuck on board this year, and we use their products religiously last year. And if you're looking to clean your car easy, Motomuck is by far the easiest thing to use. It'll saves you hours. So we went from cleaning a car for 3 hours down to an hour and a half. And you know, the car looks pretty amazing, and that came down to the guys that painted it and supplied the paint. So the paint is supplied by Complete Paints in Palmerston North here, Dave and his team there, and then Brent Tanidi from Advanced Panel and Paint painted the car, and we think it came up, you know, pretty good. We're really happy with how it's come out, and obviously the motor's done by Nelson and Brian Hartley, and got a little bit more out of it, and we're really looking forward to this season, and we'll see how we can get going and go and wreck it, I suppose.
All right, so obviously today it's the over 40 540 stock car champs in memory of our mate Robert Green here, who passed away in June. This is something very special to a lot of us. Rob came away to Christchurch with us for team champs in Christchurch there over Queen's birthday weekend, and this actually here is the car that Rob drove down there. It's actually still all got the battery and everything in it. It's a TC3 donor car, and all done up in the Wellington Young Guns colours, as you can see across the top there. All stick it up in the 4W colours that Greenie raced in down there. So that's what this over 40s stock car champs is all about. The, as we used to call Greenie, or Robert Green, Dad Ace, and hence the number 4W, like Chad Ace, and obviously his brother Rodney races the 4W Saloon down in Wellington as well. This is something pretty special to a lot of us. It's, as I say, Rob's last car, all mounted up thanks to Josh Patterson, and thanks to Rob's brother Rodney and the family for allowing us to have this on display at each of these big events. So Rob, mate, we're definitely going to miss you. So we're looking after the beast nice and well. You raced with Rob a very long time, so we'll get you to tell us a bit about the special guy that you geriatrics are all racing for, eh?
Yeah, no, Rob, well, where can you start? It's like, yeah. Rob, yeah, he's a real good guy. Always helped everyone. Didn't matter who you were, young, old, you know, he always helped out. And, yeah, we shared many, many good races.
Yeah.
And it's bloody sad, to be honest, you know. He's really good. And, well, let's say a couple of the stories we can't really tell, but...
There's plenty of stories we can't tell, mate.
That's right. But, no, all in all, a good guy. Sad to see him gone, eh?
So how long did you really race with Rob?
Oh, well, jeepers, I've been racing since 2006.
Yep.
So I've probably kicked in with Rob 2008 or something. He's been part of the Taupo team for a little bit, in and out of quite a few teams, to be honest. But, no, yeah, in all that time, we've had some real good times, and, yeah, it's a damn shame.
He was just one of those top competitors that probably about now, while we're doing all these interviews in our lunch break, will be telling us to hurry up. So we can have a quiet beverage after, because he'd be wanting the racing to flow, wouldn't he?
Yeah, oh, definitely, yep. And if he's here, he'll be giving us shit as well, so it's all good.